Welcome to another My Hero Academia manga review. This time we're doing chapter 197, An Exploding Quirky Exchange. We continue on with Class 1A plus Shinso, using the mucus from Froppy's body to kind of confuse Jiroda's, super beast smelling. You know, he's unable to tell who is who, which, prevents him from, ascertaining what threat level each one is at. You know, this kind of mixes things up. With his sense of smell being so, disoriented, he won't know if he's dealing with Kaminari, who is the biggest threat out of all of them with his, range of lightning, Shinso, who, could mind control them at any point if they let their guard down, or Froppy, who is very agile. And we have Mineta and Izuku kind of mentioning the fact that Froppy never really put her kind of mucus, you know, secreting ability to good use up until this point. She mentioned it once, but it's never really come into play until this very moment. Kaminari kind of comes up with a bit of a plan, and they kind of start to try to enact it to a certain degree, using his pointer in order to zero in on their location. Class 1B goes on the offensive with Abari sending out her vines to capture the nearest person that the beast user Jiroda is able to suss out. They get ready to go on the attack, dragging in their opponent, who turns out to be Kaminari. He immediately tries to go for a shoot, but Abari, quickly just consumes him within the vines. This is a battle of very good strategy and just knowing your opponent really well. Everybody knows some degree of what the other is able to do, just not how far they've come. It works very much like the provisional license exam, whereas a lot of the other students knew what class 1A could do, so they had to really try to overcome this. Kaminari threatens to send out this massive zap. Ibari knows that she has to confine him deep within her vines in order to keep him from blasting anyone. Kaminari quickly goes for the pointer on Jiroda, but Hiryu, who has the power of scales, and he has that whole look like a Jiangshi or a Chinese hopping vampire. And look it up, it's very deep lore there. But has the ability of scales, which he's also able to shoot out. So he quickly blasts the pointer off of Jiroda to keep him from being shocked by Kaminari. You hear Hiryu's voice say that Ibari should spread out her vines again to get the next person, and she agrees, only for Hiryu to say, hey, that wasn't my voice. She has been mind controlled by Shinso, who is hiding nearby. As it turns out, this was Kaminari's plan from the beginning, which is very shocking to a lot of people, because for Kaminari to come up with such a plan where he would put himself at risk using the fact that he is seen as such a powerful annoyance, they would put all their focus on him specifically, and they would ultimately let their guard down, allowing Shinso to mind control one of them. This time letting it be the most powerful member of the Class 1B team, Ibari, because her vines are a threat. Like, the extent of how she can use her vines is insane. So naturally, she is taken out of the picture, with Jiroda trying to go after Shinso, but here is just like, dude, no, what are you doing? Where are you going? What are you trying to do? give me the enemy's location and we'll go after him together. But Jiroda is very much not, giving into it because he's just suspicious over every voice he hears. And I love that Hiryu is just like, dude, just look at my mouth moving and you'll know that I'm the one talking. And he realizes that because of the situation, teamwork has broken down at this point. He even tries to kind of jolt Ibari out of the mind control, but Froppy gets her out of the way, putting her at a good enough distance where Hiryu can't shock her awake. Froppy manages to duck dodge as Hiryu tries to blast her down. But, you know, he continues to try to blast her while trying to get Jiroda to talk to him. But Jiroda's just adamant about going in and trying his best in order to hit Shinso because of the threat that Shinso poses. Meanwhile, Hirota is quickly kind of taken down by Froppy, who, once he lets his guard down trying to get, in touch with Jiroda, she manages to get him with a dive kick. Jiroda notes that, he never realized the extent or the danger that Shinso's power posed, and he gets closer and closer to Shinso, going in for the attack. Shinso shows off that he indeed has become a pupil of Eraserhead in how he's able to use the capture cloth, bringing down some pipes right onto Jiroda's head. However, Jiroda is able to kind of shrug this off to a certain degree and goes back in for the attack. You see Hiryu, who has been launched by Froppy right at Jiroda, screaming out for Jiroda to get out of the way. But Jiroda does not respond, thinking this is another trap by Shinso. However, Hiryu has this kind of quirk to his speech, in that he's actually a foreigner. I believe he's actually of Chinese descent, given his attire. Because, Japanese authors are nothing if not subtle when it comes to people's ethnicities. So he has this kind of quirk where he'll say revelation, blah, blah, blah. And so he says this, and Jiroda kind of realizes this at the very last moment. It's just like, oh, that's something Hiryu would actually say. And he realizes this too late as Hiryu comes crashing right into the back of Jiroda's head, knocking him unconscious. And, he's taken out because of Hiryu's, scaled body. So both Jiroda, Hiryu, and Ibari are all taken out of the picture. And thus, Class 1A is able to claim victory, having used Ibari to kind of wrap up the remaining teammates and take them all to the prison. Froppy kind of commends Shinso's strong ability, but Shinso ultimately says that, they only won because of the quick thinking of both Froppy and Kaminari. And he says that he still has a long way to go if he wants to become a pro with his abilities. So it was a very fun chapter. Again, as I've said time and time again, I love actually seeing what Class 1B can do, because there are a lot of strong quirks here. Development of the solid air dude's abilities, how far that's come. Actually seeing what Hiryu's quirk can do, whereas that you knew he could form scales, but you didn't really know the extent of what he could do with the scales. Seeing Jiroda, who we never actually seen transform into his super beast form. A lot of people think that he was just kind of like Beast from the X-Men. That's his base form. He's just kind of animalistic, has above human strength. But the fact that he can grow larger and stronger, at the cost of his own intellect, is also interesting. And seeing how Ibari's vines could spread all over, just how much reach they really had. We knew that they had like a great deal of power and reach, but her quirk is insane with the amount of control, manipulation. Honestly, had they not have had Shinso on their side, Hibari would have ended them. It's kind of hard to see how many people who could actually take her down because her quirk seems almost limitless. We don't know the extent of how far her vines can spread and how much of them she can produce. It's a very interesting situation. I would like to see more of her particularly because her quirk just seems fascinating and immensely powerful. I wonder if she could, shape it and mold it into actual tools and weapons like hammers or hand. She mostly just uses it for wrapping, and sometimes she can bunch it all up to kind of take the brunt of certain impacts. So very good insight into Class 1B. And then Shinso, yeah, his ability is frightening because with the right time, teamwork, and planning, you could take down almost anyone, especially if it's someone who's working with someone else. You get them talking, kind of caught up in the heat of the moment, and then Shinso disguises his voice a little bit. The person responds, and they're done. They're captured right then and there. And I love the idea of Shinso kind of going under Aizawa's wing because Aizawa's abilities is just like without the capture cloth, there's only so much he could do. A lot of his techniques and ability come from the fact that he can nullify quirks with a look. But just that alone can only do so much. So with the use of his agility and his capture cloth, he's able to do devastating attacks. And, Shinso going under Aizawa's tutelage just, shows just how far Shinso can really take things. I like the fact that people who, their quirks don't give them a physical edge, they're able to learn in various other ways to kind of make up for it. That's where the equipment comes in. You know, Shinso, a lot of the victory in this came from the equipment that they had made for them. Shinso's voice modulator, Kaminari's pointer, and all that, point and shooter. That really helped them win ultimately in the end. So good gear goes a long way, and I love the fact that we're just kind of shown that throughout this. It's just like having tactics, knowing how to boost your abilities and train them to their utmost limit. It's just like that goes a long way, even for a quirk that might not seem like it has a wide variety of options and abilities. I harp on this all the time, but I wish X-Men would kind of take notes of this. It's just like there's more to just having power. It's how you use it and what other tools you use in relation to it as well. It's just like take Spider-Man for instance. His whole thing is he can stick to things and has his spider sense, agility and all that. But the web shooters, that's equipment he made in order to give him a wider range of power. Everything that comes from his web shooters is equipment he made in order to give him a bigger edge. And without his web shooters, he would not be as effective of a hero as he is in the modern world. And Batman, that's his whole thing. Now, a genius level intellect can only take you so far in a fight, but with the proper tools, equipments, and gadgets, you can go a long way. And I love that this was a highlight of this chapter. But, that's enough for me. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this chapter as a whole? Did you end up liking this showdown? What did you think about Class 1B and their abilities? And do you want to see more of them in the future? And feel free to leave me a like or a dislike on this video. Tell me your thoughts, let me know where I stand. And subscribe for more My Hero Academia. Who will win the next fight? Class 1A or Class 1B? I can't wait.